I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Players TV, here with your World Series of Poker update. Now, event number 2 of this year's World Series of Poker was a $1,500 buy-in, no-limit event. You might say, there's a lot of $1,500 buy-in, no-limit events, but you know what? This one was different. It was a record-breaking event, the 4th largest tournament ever held in the world, and the largest non-main event field. The tournament attracted 3,929 players, and that built a first-place prize of about $831,000. They're down to a 10-handed final table right now, and the chip leader is James Ackenhead. Theo Tran is in the middle of the pack.
So tell me about the tournament. How did you get there? You keep making it through these giant fields at the World Series.
Yeah, I just been focused and playing good, and just picking my spots while it's, this whole tournament. Been pretty fortunate where I've never had a table that, wow, the people that played with me are going to think I'm a dick, but I never had any tough tables.
Really?
Yeah, it was a really soft field. This was probably one of the softest WSOP fields I've ever played in.
Did you expect it to be so?
In these fields, the 1,500 events, there's so many bad players, but
well, how do you manage to dodge the bad players? Because they can be sometimes trickier than the pros.
Not really, because they give away so much information, with whatever they're doing. They're easy to trap, and, they basically tell you their hand, and like I said, I've been pretty fortunate with my table draws where I've never had a really solid table. Right now, the final tables, everybody that has big stacks has it for a reason. It's not because they sucked out or anything. They have it for a reason. So now we're at the final table. There's a lot of good players left, but this whole way, the last few days, I've never had any tables where I felt like I couldn't. Yeah, I was outclassed or I couldn't play my game. I was able to just take over every.
So you basically were the table captain at every table.
Usually, there was times that. Somebody came in and they got moved to my left and they had a big stack, and I would have to figure them out first before I really, got in pots with them. But overall, it's been pretty smooth. I'm just sailing.
Well, how did last night go? I know that they were playing until almost 6 o'clock in the morning. They couldn't get down to the final table. Yeah. What was going on down there?
Well, obviously with so many players, and also with the better structure this year. This year's structure is amazing. They added so many levels.
They added levels?
Yeah, they added levels, so it's so much better this year. It took forever, and it sucked for me because the night before I went out to celebrate with Nanad because Nanad just took down the 10K PLH event. So I was out till 8 a.m. I got 2 hours of sleep. I had to come back and play all day. So I played 12, 13 hours, and they were saying we had to play to 9, and I was like...
You were one of the players voting to stop?
Yeah, I didn't really care because I felt everybody was tired, and I pulled these 6 sessions before, so I felt that I actually had an advantage, but I was just so out of it that I was like, it's good, let's just go home and get some sleep. So I got 4 hours of sleep today, and I'm good now.
So the final table is going to go down tonight. Usually you have a day to rest up before the final table. You think that'll change the dynamic at all?
Not really, because everybody's fully rested. We only played a couple hours now. We played 3-4 hours. So I don't think so. I'm sure everybody else is nervous right now.
You're not nervous. It's old hat for you.
It's my first TV table, but I'm just I'm so focused on the win and the bracelet. So.
Other notable players who waded through this huge field include Chris Jesus Ferguson and the short stack David Bach.
David, you're going into the final table of the 1,500 no-limit hold'em event. How'd you make it through that field, almost 4,000 players?
I got off to an unbelievable start. I had a really good first table, and I ran 3,000 up to 12 in the first 2 levels, and I had 20 by the end of the 4th level, and was the chip leader from there pretty much until halfway through day 2.
Okay. And then you just petered out a little bit?
Yeah, I went a little card dead. I caught the deck for the first day. It's the best day I've been playing for 12 years as a professional. Best day of cards I've ever had. If I raised with 2 kings, I'd flop a full house. If I called with Jack 9, I'd flop a straight.
Oh,
and
those are always nice days.
I had a table where they were really kind of intimidated because I folded top full house for a 1/4 of the pot bet because I knew the guy had quads. He was shaking like this.
He had them?
Yeah. And I folded it face up, and the whole table just... Whoa. And from there on out, it was like I could do whatever I wanted.
Well, what was play like last night? You guys were playing all night.
It was brutal.
How many hours did you play? 15, 16?
16 hours.
16 hours.
And we would have had to play, I guess, 20. And I was the one that spoke up and probably kept us from
orchestrated
playing that long. Because it was just unfair, and not so much for me because I'm young enough that I can get away with that.
Yeah.
It's so unfair to somebody that's like 50, 60 years old to ask them to play
that long of a session.
and that important of a tournament for 18, 20 hours. It's just not fair.
Did you see older people looking a little
I saw
under the
some
weather?
really big mistakes. There was one guy that shoved that would have never shoved.
6 hours, 10 hours earlier.
Yep. And I don't think it was. I don't think it's right that Harrah's is kowtowing so much to ESPN. I know they're important. I know TV coverage is good for poker, but we're putting up all the money. And it's like we don't have any say. And they've made a lot of improvements at this year's World Series, and my hat's off to Jeffrey Pollack for everything he's done.
Definitely.
But that's something that really needs to be worked on.
Are you familiar with the other players at the final table? Have you played with them before this event? Any of them?
All but about 3. Not extensively though. I played with Chris Ferguson quite a few times, and I actually know him a little bit. Played with Theo Tran a couple times. There's a young, I believe he's an English kid who seems really talented.
Theo mentioned that he was a threat.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by his play so far.
Well, you play a lot of mixed games. You're not exclusively a no-limit player.
No, not at all.
Do you think that helps you, that you have a more well-rounded poker knowledge in the no-limit tournaments, or is it not really an asset?
There's a lot of really skilled no-limit players now, right? And I have some edges in the mixed games that I'm not able to have in no-limit. But yeah, I'm sure that having a complete set of poker skills has to help. I mean,
but you're confident in your no-limit game, obviously.
Oh yeah, but I can't create the kind of mistakes that I can in some other games.
I understand.
Just people are so fundamentally sound due to all the knowledge on the internet and all the books that are out now.
Mm-hmm. So how are you doing in chips right now, entering the final table?
Well, I'm in 10th, but there's 3 people like just barely above me. I have enough, not enough to bleed off any chips, but I have enough to play.
Yeah, they gave a lot of play in this tournament, added
wonderful
some levels.
Structure. The structures for this year World Series, I can't say enough how good they were. Last year I made a final table, and it went from 10-20 to 15-30. It went from 20-40 to 30-60, and we were just shoving.
Yeah, there's no option at that point.
Yeah, you can play now.
Tonight they're going to play down to the gold bracelet winner of event number 2, and you can find out who that is right here on cardplayer.com. I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Player TV.